In this week's episode, a real-life lesson from the streets. But first, a village in Limpopo produces an inventor who's celebrated internationally. He's always imagined a different world and has come up with inventions that are set to change the lives of millions of people. Professor Mulalo Doyoyo has studied and taught at several universities in the US. But coming from a family of 10 in rural Limpopo, Professor Mulalo had to fight very hard to make it in life. At the end of 1988, South Africans waited for the Bantu Education Department to announce matric results. When they finally did, one family in Limpopo celebrated the most. Their son, Mulalo Doyoyo, did extremely well, securing a place among top students in the country.
I think at that time he visited me and we made him a big party because we were now looking forward to this young man who's going to do what he wanted to do in life.
It was at the height of apartheid. Most black students couldn't enroll at universities without doing a bridging course that prepared them for tertiary institutions. Mulalo was no exception.
When I finished my matric, I was like, the top student. So I didn't understand why I was made to go through such a process.
For Mulalo to make it all the way to the University of Cape Town was no easy journey. He was born in Venda, Limpopo. There were 10 in his family. His mother was unemployed and his father worked as a migrant laborer in Johannesburg.
I gave myself a task to assist my father so that all my siblings can at least go past matric.
I fought and did what I could. Life was not easy for me.
Fortunately, a mining company assisted Mulalo with a full bursary, enabling him to finish his degree in mechanical engineering. Throughout this time, excellence was his trademark. And in 1993, Mulalo's impressive work ethic paid off when UCT gave him an opportunity to study at Brown University in the US. He began his journey towards a PhD and met new friends.
He's got lots of energy and he wants things done and he wants it done now. And that's one of the things I find different about him. Things have got to be done now.
Reading different books seemed to enrich Mulalo's imagination. He remembered how his late grandmother back in Limpopo mixed different types of natural material to make home accessories.
She would take slime from the frogs and mix it up with the pots, and no one could break a pot. They would be like steel.
Mulalo combined this ancient method with his new knowledge and came up with this, cementless bricks.
Prof comes, to me, comes across an extraordinary person. He thinks out of the box. More than anything, it never stops amazing you, the things that he says and does.
But his inventions didn't keep him away from his studies. 5 years at Brown University working consistently hard, Mulalo finally received his PhD. But it was only the beginning of his journey. In 1999, he moved on to Massachusetts Institute of Technology, where he started teaching.
I started teaching in the Department of Ocean Engineering at MIT. I started teaching there. I was teaching mechanics of structures.
From a poor family in Limpopo, Professor Mulalo was now a top academic living the American dream. In 2011, he finally decided to come back home and use his knowledge to improve his beloved South Africa. His own experiences while growing up in a village motivated Professor Mulalo to invent something that could benefit the poor. He came up with an environmentally friendly toilet for use in squatter camps.
The pump runs through the sun. So the toilets basically are able to recycle their own waste using microorganisms. But at the same time, the water, right, basically runs through the pump. The pump runs through the sun.
That's one of the reasons why I loved him to come back to South Africa. Because if he's out there, he's going to be doing something good for Americans, whereas he can come and do something good for the South Africans.
South Africa salutes you, Professor Mulalo, for being outstanding. As always, we appreciate your feedback. Against all odds at enca.com. You can also be in touch with us on Twitter and Facebook. Still to come, a homeless man dedicated to educating the nation.